see some likes already. That's right. Start off right. Start off right. Hello. I am Keyoka. I am a writer. I'm a dog mom and I solo travel. Last year, I took my dogs with me and we bopped around to 10 countries. This channel is for all the black girls who want to do the same thing, who might be a little awkward, might be a little introverted, might be a little shy, but they still want to go outside and see the world. Today, my guest is somebody who's doing those exact same things, and she brought her doggies with her. Not my dog cutting up in the background. Let me know if you hear him. He might need to get snatched up. Okay, so I'm gonna bring her up. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Good. Your dog make me laugh. He's like shouting out in the background, like, yep.
Your dogs are a little bit older than mine, so they have a little bit of sense.
One of them is past, but yeah. Well, wait, how old are your dogs, Keyoka?
7?
Yeah. She's like three years older. Trixie's 10.
So Ashley, I found you. I found your Instagram when I was traveling with my dogs, and I was like, oh my God, there's a girl out there who's doing something that I want to do. And I was like, let me bring her on so she could just talk about her experiences, like being outside. Where are you right now?
Warsaw, Poland. It's me and Trixie right now. Yeah. We like it.
Ashley is a little shy, but I told her that my community is very nice. Like everybody is saying hi in the chat. I'm gonna ask some things on the screen. Hi y'all, good morning. Well, not good morning. It is always morning for me. Hi Angela. Listen, we doing big things on the channel. So sometimes we're gonna go live during the week. Please click the notification bell and keep up on social. It's a surprise to me also when I go live. It's a surprise to me. Hello, hi. If you're coming into the room, please like the video. Please drop down in the comments and say hi to me. She has 2 audios open. Who? Is there trouble with the sound? Let me know in the comment section. Hey y'all. Big echo when Ashley speaks. Sounds like multiple tabs open.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Maybe we try with we could try with some headphones.
Should I hang up and just call back in? I don't know why I would do that.
Do you have headphones with you?
I do, but remember it didn't connect. So I mean, we can try. But wow, yeah, this sucks.
It's okay, it happens. Nobody is a techie here, so like.
Let's see.
Let me see. I'll put on mine too and see if that improves the sound. Let's see. Maya says, hi Maya. Maya is my friend in Albania who says that she wants to join the channel. We'll see if we can get her to come on too.
Okay, so if I click back out, I'm gonna click back in. Is that okay? Because I'm gonna connect my Bluetooth. What happens if I leave the screen?
It's okay. It'll just be me. I'll click out and put myself and I'll entertain the people. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Hi y'all. I have an amazing guest today. She's been to a lot of different countries, and she is traveling with one dog. She had 2. We're going to get into that situation a little bit, but currently she's in Poland, and Ashley's mom is in the chat. So the hi Gisela. I have trouble pronouncing things. I apologize. As a Keyoka, you would think that I would just know how to say words because I have a interesting name. So the headphones help, great sound. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna bring you back on, Ashley. Oh, I think she paused. Oh, perfect.
Are
Say
we
something.
okay?
We're okay. Can you hear me?
They're an echo.
I think the sound is good.
Okay. Wow, we're having technical difficulties? God.
No, no, no. Everyone in the comments is saying the sound is good.
Okay, okay, cool.
Okay, can you hear me?
I hear you good. I'm good. I hear you good. I don't know. Is there still an echo on my part?
People drop down in the chats and let us know. No echo. Perfect. All right, let's hop in. That was great. Let's do a little shake. That was great. Okay, Ashley, so what made you start traveling solo? A lot of people will go on group trips. A lot of people will use like an institution, like they'll do like a study abroad program. But what made you sort of start take the leap and start traveling by yourself, and then bring your dogs along?
Okay, girl. So I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna try to make a long story short kind of thing. So to be completely frank, I was in a relationship for a while, so there was some trips that I was able to take with someone. There was other trips where I like met people in hostels and I was able to meet them in the country. So I would go there solo, but then I would also have people to meet with, kind of thing. And then after a while, it was like the trips got longer and longer. Um, I lived in an RV for 3 years, and then I was trying to relocate to Panama. During the pandemic, I ended up traveling in a second RV, sold that one, and then after a while, I'm just like, the trips are getting longer and longer, but I keep having to come back because of the dogs. The house life isn't really working, the 9 to 5 isn't really working, the apartment life isn't really working. So I came to Europe last year, and I was just like, I'm gonna be honest. I was scared. So for like a year, I lived in Dallas. I wanted to travel with the dogs for a while because I was like, that's the only thing that I mean, that's the only thing that really keeps you coming back to the States. Like, I got to go back for my dogs. But then after a while, I'm like, okay, I was so scared. I was so scared. I was thinking the worst. I'm like, my dogs are gonna die in the cargo. How am I? I'm gonna get stopped. The cops are gonna stop me. Girl, you know how it is with the paperwork.
These are
So I just
reasonable
did a lot.
fears.
Said what?
I said these are reasonable fears. I also had the same concerns.
It's bad. It was bad. So I kept prolonging it. I knew eventually I was like gonna want to move abroad. Things kept coming up. Other opportunities to travel came. But then I'm just like, when I came to Europe last year, I made a decision. I'm like, I'm gonna take the dogs, and it took me like 6 months. I'm gonna say to finally like get the balls, to just like book the flight. I booked like 2 flights to Italy. I missed one. No, I canceled one, and then I missed the other one. And then at the last minute, when I came with the dogs, I'm like, I don't really have a need to go back. So while I was in Europe, I actually flew back to Texas to sell my car because I had already given up the apartment. I had an opportunity to break my lease. So I broke my lease, and then I came to Europe and I stayed. And Europe was actually supposed to be a passing point. I was supposed to go to Thailand. But my older dog, the one who just passed, she needed an eye surgery. So that prolonged the stay in Budapest. And then I ended up living in Hungary. Well, I stayed in Hungary, and then I went to Romania because of the visa situation. I stayed there a few months, and I love Romania. I loved Romania. Um, Came back, moved to Budapest, lived in Hungary for a year, and then my residency was coming to an end. So I'm like, the next best place to me was Poland. I was on and off, like I was visiting Poland, going back to Budapest, and then you know how it is, girl. That's the next location. So
Isn't that such a
everybody asked,
crazy
you know,
ride?
you said what?
I said, isn't that such a crazy ride?
I just told you I'm gonna make a long story short. So it was crazy. The whole way through was crazy. But why did I start traveling solo? That was the original question. It's just I didn't intend for it to happen that way, but it was like inevitable. We're talking from like I'm 32 now, so from like 25, I'm taking trips, and I'm coming back because of the dogs. And then I'm taking the dogs to like little trips, but I'm coming back because I have an apartment. And then I bought a house, so it's like you know. So I just a lot of planning, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make it so I can take a long trip abroad, and a long trip turned into a living abroad.
Yes, I love that for you. So, initially, when you decided to take your dogs and make the leap to go to Europe, What was the planning process like for you? Like, did you choose a destination first and then looked into the requirements, or how was it?
Um, so I knew I wanted to do Europe because of the whole train. I don't know how I mean, you know how the train system works. The trains are very friendly, at least on the eastern part of Europe, you know? So I was I was pretty sure I was going to come to Europe because I wanted, like I said, I wanted the long trip, but I wasn't trying to stay in Italy for no year. So I wanted the opportunity to go to a place where I can like travel with them more easier. And so when I read about are the same amount of paperwork, like the whole, it's simple, microchip, rabies vaccination. Um, when why did I forgot why I chose Italy, girl. Maybe it was like the cheapest ticket. I don't even remember. But how was the planning? It was pretty simple. Once I did the research, it's just paperwork. It's like three main requirements: microchip, vaccination, and what's the other one? Microchip,
The
The
vaccination.
health
health
certificate.
certificate.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
In Schengen, it's all the same. It's all the same. All the countries require the same. And then once I like started to educate myself on that, I'm like, dude, so that means I can go to Italy and take a train to fucking, I'm sorry, take a train to be, and the train is requiring the same paperwork. I'm doing it. So how was the planning? I think it was really, I don't know. To me, you see, that's the thing. To me, it's easy because I've done it. So it's like a lot of it was just having the balls to do it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 So a
So a
lot of
lot
the
of the
first
first
steps
steps
were
were
getting
getting
your
your
mindset
mindset
together
together
to
to
be
be
able to
able to
take
take
the
the
leap.
leap.
Yeah, because you go on Google and pretty much like all of the Caribbean and all of Europe has the same amount of paperwork when it comes to dogs coming from the USA, coming from the USA. So it's just a matter of getting up and doing it, I guess.
How
How
long do
long do
you
you
think
think
it
it
took
took
you
you
to
to
get your
get your
paperwork in
paperwork in
order
order
for
for
the
the
dogs?
dogs? Do you
So from
remember
the
that far back?
USA, because like I said, my first time, yeah, from the USA to Italy, it was simple. I did it in New York City. Actually, I did it in Elmira, New York, and I forgot the veterinarian's name, but it has to be a licensed veterinarian, right? Like an accredited veterinarian. She examines the dogs. The vaccinations have to be given at least 30 days prior. She examines the dogs, make sure all the vaccinations are up to date, make sure the dog has an international health certificate. And then she sends your certificate, and you're supposed to leave within 10 days of getting, well, no, once she sends your certificate, you get it back within 2 to 3 days, and you have to leave within 10 days of actually the actual examination. So my ticket was for, let's say if it was on the 10th, I knew I had to have all this done from the 1st to the 10th. I had to have all that done. So like I said, it was just a mindset because I knew what I had to do. It was just a matter of, is everything else in order? Like, is the plane going to allow my dogs to be on? Are my dogs going to be safe? Is if it's a straight flight, no layovers? So
Did
Did
they
they
fly
fly
in
in
the
the
same
same
kennel
kennel
together?
together?
Because
Because
they're
they're
both
both
small.
um
small.
Or
Or
did you
did you
have
have
two
two
separate
separate
ones?
ones?
so Trixie's a service animal. Um and Michelle was small. So for Trixie, I didn't pay, and she sat in front. Every airline is different, though. Every airline is different. Who did I think I flew with United. So I think there was an extra. You have to buy an extra seat with United. I think you have to buy an extra seat with United. With Trixie, she sits in front for free as long as she can fit in front. And then Michelle was small, so she went in the back and she was able to go under the seat. And that's another thing. I went like I was trying to get that perfect flight. I wanted a straight flight, and I wanted a flight where both of my dogs can go in cabin with me. And that's hard to find, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Um,
Um,
so
so
if
if
you
you
feel
feel
comfortable,
comfortable,
I
I
want
want
to
to
talk
talk
a
a
little
little
bit
bit
about
about
Michelle.
Michelle,
If
if
you're
you're
comfortable
comfortable
with
with
that,
that.
just
Just
asking
asking
some
some
questions.
questions.
So
So
Ashley
Ashley
has
has
had
had
the
the
experience
experience
of
of
losing a
losing a
dog
dog
while
while
she's
she's
overseas,
overseas,
and
and
also
also
I
I
believe
believe
Michelle
Michelle
was
was
also the
also the
one
one
who
who
had
had
the
the
surgery,
surgery,
or
or
was it?
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
could
could
you
you
talk a
talk a
little
little
bit
bit
about
about
your
your
experience
experience
at the
at the
vet?
vet?
And
And
because
because
the
the
surgery
surgery
happened
happened
in
in
Hungary,
Hungary,
right?
right?
In
In
Budapest.
Budapest.
So
So
could you
could you
talk
talk
about
about
the
the
experience
experience
of
of
having
having
like
like
a
a
medical
medical
emergency
emergency
with
with
your
your
pet,
pet,
and
and
how
how
the
the
service
service
was,
was,
the
the
how
how
the
the
vet
vet
situation
situation
was?
was?
First of all, the vets were amazing. I think honestly, since I've been out here, the vets have all been amazing. I don't think I've had, even with doctors, like personally, like I don't think I've had bad medical care out here. Poland, Budapest, or Romania. Um, with Michelle's surgery, so like I said, when you're in Schengen as an American citizen, you can only be here for 3 months. So again, Europe was supposed to be a Passover. On the last month, Michelle decided to bump into some kind of bush and get like an injury to her eye that ended up getting infected. And one vet visit turned into like 2 or 3 visits, and then I ended up having to see a specialist for her. And the specialist she was blind anyway, and she could barely see through that eye. So because of her age, they advised, like we can just remove the eye and kind of put her out of her misery instead of having to do like a more, I guess, you know, uh, what was the name? It was, I forgot the name of the surgery, but it was a surgery where pretty much they would like pretty much scratch the surface and let it grow back. But again, I only had like at that time, I think I only had like 30 days left on the visa. So I had to make a decision, and I wasn't going to have my baby go across the country in pain. So I decided to get the eye removed. They were great. I don't know if you guys hear my neighbors. They were really, really good. It was I think it was like on the Buda side of Budapest. The doctor was amazing. I would say the medical care was pretty affordable compared to what it would have been in the United States. I paid like for everything, I'm gonna say I paid like $600 to $1,000, but that was for everything. That's medicine, surgery, aftercare. That's um I'm sure in America that would have cost me a couple thousand. But anyways, she got the
Definitely.
surgery. Yeah, she got the surgery. Was I scared? Yeah. I was calling my mom like every day. I was devastated because it's like, I mean, I'm in Europe by myself with 2 dogs, and one of my dogs has to have her eye removed. And it's like, fuck, like, how do you, that's a lot to deal with, And then I have to make sure that she's good within 30 days because we got to leave. Like, we can't stay here. So the doctors were great. They ended up removing the eye, and I was able to cross over just in time. Um, surgery part, that's what you're asking, right? That's just the surgery part. The death is what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we don't have to talk about the specifics of that because I know it's very emotional. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit. Where would you not recommend bringing your dogs? Where have you brought them? Which country have you brought them to, and where would you not bring them?
I'm gonna be honest. In Europe, I feel like Europe, I mean, Europe is very pet friendly. Like, I can't count how many times I've seen dogs in restaurants, on lounge chairs, in the train, well, Croatia was a little bit stricter on the train.
Better.
No, can you hear?
Echo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
This is just gonna be one of them videos.
So, in terms of Europe, I don't know. That's a hard question. I feel Poland and Italy are the friendliest. I'll say that. And I don't know if this is okay to say, but I've been on the train through Eastern Europe to several countries, and the only time they asked for paperwork, which was shocking to me, because when I landed in Rome, like I had to pretty much chase someone down to check off Michelle's and Trixie's paperwork. It was crazy. But going from I think to Romania was the only time at that time Romania wasn't part of the Schengen zone. So that was, but it's been so lenient. Like, it's been so lenient for what I thought it was gonna be, you know?
That's good. That's good. So we can hear you now, but the echo is back. We prefer. Hold on. We prefer you have an echo because she'll be talking more. Okay, so I'll put my headphones back on. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so does it sound good?
Drop down in the comments. Let me know.
You
You
hear
hear
me
me
fine?
fine?
They're
They're
hearing
hearing
an
an
echo.
echo.
I
I
am
am
not a
not a
technical
technical
person.
person.
We'll
We'll
make
make
it
it
work.
work.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
let's
let's
move
move
away
away
from the
from the
dog
dog
chat.
chat.
A
A
lot of
lot of
people don't
people don't
have
have
dogs.
dogs.
We're
We're
good
good
now.
now.
Don't
Don't
change
change
anything.
anything.
I
I
will
will
not
not
change
change
a
a
thing.
thing.
um, I
I
just want
just
to
want to
remind
remind
everybody
everybody
to
to
like
like
the
the
video.
video.
You
You
see
see
we're
we're
struggling
struggling
over
over
here.
here.
So
So
give us
give
a
us a
like.
like.
Give us
Give
a
us a
like.
like.
I'll
I'll
wait.
wait.
I can't see the comments, by the way. So if I'm not answering the questions detailed enough, I feel like I'm rambling on through them, but I'm
No,
trying
you're
to be
doing
as
great.
detailed as. It's crazy how much you forget, though. Like I'm sitting here like, wait, how did I get to Europe with the dogs?
No,
It's
it's
great.
great.
It's
It's
great.
great.
You're
You're
doing
doing
great.
great.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
answering
answering
all
all
my
my
questions.
questions.
So
So
let's
let's
transition to
transition to
just
just
talking
talking
about
about
solo
solo
travel.
travel.
I
I
think we
think we
talked a
talked a
little
little
bit
bit
about
about
your
your
planning
planning
process.
process.
How
How
did
did
you,
you,
so when
so
you
when you
go
go
to a
to a
new
new
country,
country,
how
how
are
are
you
you
choosing the
choosing the
things
things
that you
that you
want to
want to
do?
do?
Wait, for me or for the dogs?
For
For
you,
you,
for
for
you.
you.
Oh, I have a bucket list. I'm just trying to knock out countries off the bucket list. Yeah, I don't really have a. This is gonna sound so horrible. Well, maybe it's not. I mean, I guess this comes with the lifestyle. But when it comes to planning, I really don't have a plan. It's to me, it's all about. Well, now I have one dog. At the time, it was two. But like, I want to leave Europe pretty soon, and right, that to me, it's just research. So because I have, like, if it was just me, let's be honest, I can just book a flight and go tomorrow. You know, well, not tomorrow, but if I want to do a long trip, I have to take into consideration. Okay, so like I said, Thailand is up there. I didn't really want to say it, but Thailand is should be happening, you know. And one thing that has been scaring me about Thailand is the stray dogs. And this might sound so ignorant, but I'm really afraid of snakes. And last time I went to Thailand, I came across a lot of snakes.
I've
I've
never
never
heard
heard
So
that.
that.
I'm thinking, you said what?
I've
I've
never
never
heard
heard
that.
that.
It's just me being ignorant, but it's like Bangkok is known for being like Cobra Swamp and having a lot of snakes, but that's another. So I feel like that's something that I'm trying to work around. So now, because I want to, like, I'm just giving an example. Like, if I choose Thailand, like right now, I'll be doing research on Thailand. I'm looking at comfortability. Like, where can I walk my dog? Is it dog friendly? What is there for dogs to do? Is there sitters? Because I'm not going to want to be attached to my dog 24/7. I still want to travel, you know? What's life like there? Walking your dog. So it's like, I have a bucket list of things I want to do, of places I want to go, but because I'm traveling with a dog, I always have to take that into consideration, you know? And there's some countries where I will not take my dog. And I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say where those countries are, but I've done enough research to just hold out. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be, but I'm going to hold out. Have fallen to the bottom of the list.
I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
ask,
ask,
where
where
would you
would you
not
not
take
take
them,
them?
but
But
I
I
won't.
won't.
But
But
what I
what I
like
like
about
about
what
what
you
you
said,
said,
right,
right,
is
is
that
that
having
having
dogs
dogs
is
is
not
not
having a
having a
dog is
dog is
not
not
inhibiting
inhibiting
your
your
travel.
travel.
You're
You're
not
not
saying
saying
I
I
can't
can't
go
go
anywhere, I
anywhere, I
can't do
can't do
anything
anything
because I
because I
have
have
these
these
dogs.
dogs.
You're
You're
incorporating
incorporating
your
your
dog
dog
into the
into the
planning
planning
and
and
into
into
your
your
travel.
travel.
That's what
That's
I
what I
love.
love.
Yeah. And that's what, and I think you can agree because you've traveled. I mean, you've done a lot of traveling with two dogs as well. And it's really a mindset. It's not like, and it's about how long you want to go. Like if I'm going to go somewhere for 2 weeks and I know that it's going to stress her out, or at the time it was going to stress them out, then I would have left them with family and gone, you know? But the only thing, in my case, the only thing that was stopping me was my dogs. Like I kept having to come back because of that responsibility. Because once you give up the apartment, you know, you sell whatever you have to sell. You really don't have, I mean, yeah, you have family, but you can always go back and visit your family. If you want to be abroad and you have a pet, then that's the only thing that's going to keep you coming back. So yeah, no, it definitely comes down to like mindset and how much I'm willing to sacrifice. And I think it's worth it. I think you can agree too.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
worth
worth
it.
it.
So
So
let's
let's
back
back
up.
up.
Where
Where
have
have
you
you
been?
been?
Which
Which
countries
countries
have you
have you
been
been
to?
to?
Like in Europe,
Period. Wherever.
Like, you want me to name them?
Yeah. Where have you been?
I don't honestly, for the amount of time I've been traveling, I'm kind of hard on myself with the amount of countries I've been to. But well, Europe, Poland, Vienna, Czech Republic, Hungary, Croatia, Slovakia, Romania, Italy. Now I'm going to the Caribbean. So Barbados, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Bahamas, Mexico, Antigua, which is one of my favorites. Antigua, Aruba, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, which part of the U.S. So okay. Ireland, London. I have it all on my travel page. I can't think right now like that, but
your mama said Panama.
Oh my God, of course, Panama. How can I forget that? I was just saying that I wanted to relocate to Panama before the pandemic, which ended up, that's another story. Panama, damn, I'm messing up here. I can't think.
It's okay. That's a lot of places. Like you've been a lot of places.
It's definitely more, but I can't really, But if you go to my page, if you go to my Instagram, I take pictures whenever I can. So.
Yes, if you want to see more of Ashley's travels, I have a link to her Instagram, Travel with Tricks, or Let Earth Be Home. I have a very loud keyboard because I like to feel like I'm being productive. Has there ever been a country where you haven't felt safe?
Ooh, some people are going to hate me for this, so I'm just going to say it. Okay, one thing, okay. I love my German friends, but I'm not Germany's another country I've been to, but Berlin, I don't like Berlin.
No, because I got dragged. I got dragged by saying I didn't like Germany.
What part of Germany?
I was in Frankfurt.
Okay, I haven't seen Frankfurt yet, and I'm not really. Yeah, no, I didn't do that long in Berlin. I only did 3 weeks, so maybe giving myself enough time. But yeah, it's just not my thing. But I know too many people love Germany, so it's like when I say that, especially Berlin. So when I say that, they're like, "Oh my God, Berlin? You don't like Berlin?" Like, no, I didn't like the vibe. I didn't like the streets. I didn't like the prices. I wasn't feeling it. And then a lot of people, as a solo woman, a lot of people have a lot to say about Romania. And I lived there. So just for context, to me, living is anywhere you've stayed at least 60 days. Because at that point, you're pretty much, the store, like the person in the corner store, you have a routine going, like, people, Romania was a shock. Like people, oh my God, you're going to Romania by yourself. Getting on the train from Hungary to Romania, it looked a little rough, but I had I had a great time, great experience in Romania, and I never felt unsafe. So I just want to put that out there.
Now you're saying it looked a little rough. You're from New York, correct?
It didn't look that much different getting on that train.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, which country surprised you? Like, you had maybe low expectations and then discovered it was beautiful, or your expectations were in the dirt and you were surprised?
Poland.
Poland?
See, I thought Poland was going to be like, okay, so I stayed in Brasov, Transylvania, Romania. And I feel like there wasn't it's a small city. So and it's also like, it was like a small town too. Like it's a really small town. So I don't feel like there was a lot to do. And I kind of had that expectation coming to Poland. I don't know why. But when I got here, I won't say it's like New York, but I'm surprised at how modern it is, how clean it is, how safe it is. Very surprised. I didn't expect to. I mean, I think Poland is super fun. I think there's a lot to do out here. I mean, Warsaw to be exact. Um, but I wasn't expecting it to be so fun, I guess.
Okay, then let's talk about Poland because I don't know that Poland is on anybody's radar. So like what made you first of all, what made you go there of all places? Not of all places, but what made you go to Poland?
That's of all places. You know what's funny? It's the same. Like I wish I had answers to these questions, but I really don't. It's more so it just happens over time. Like I'm in Budapest and I wanted to come to Poland and something kept coming up. My friend from New York, shout out to Lamel, came to Poland and I was like, yeah, I want to go to Poland because of like the Holocaust history. I want to go to this museum, that museum. I want to go to Auschwitz Museum. I want to do this. I want to do that. But something kept coming up. Excuse me. So I wasn't able to like ever make it happen. So then when I came, maybe it was like what is it? Like when you're waiting, the anticipation, like when you're waiting for something to happen and then when it happens, you're like, oh shit, I'm here. Well, my first impression was that it was fucking cold. I came last winter. Oh my God, these winters, I don't know how, listen, I don't know what I'm gonna do this winter, but yeah. So I came and I was like, okay, first of all, I was ignorant to Warsaw. I didn't even know it was this modern. Like, I didn't know about the buildings. I didn't know how nice it was. To me, it's really nice. So I wasn't expecting that much. I was just expecting another European city, like, you know, Romania, Budapest, Croatia. Like, I was really expecting that European look. And you still have that in Poland. But I don't know. I got here, girl, and it's like a city. Well, it is a city, but it's like a small city. And I don't want to compare it to New York, but it's different from every other European I've been to. And I feel like anybody who lives in Poland can agree. Like, I feel like anybody who lives in Warsaw can agree that it stands out from a lot of European cities.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Because okay, have you been to London?
Yeah. You know what?
Or have you been to even when you were in Germany?
What do you mean?
Like the modernness of the city. Because I feel like when you think about Croatia or you think about Romania, there's parts that aren't really developed, or it kind of looks like, I don't know, it's almost like being transported back in time. But I don't know. I think I would expect Warsaw to be more of like a city. Like if we compare it to like a Munich or a Berlin.
Well, I haven't been to Munich. I haven't been to Frankfurt, so I'm gonna compare it to. Well, London is the UK, so that's like. Wow. I mean, yeah, I don't really want to compare that to Warsaw. But between Warsaw and Berlin, I think again, I'm only in Berlin for 3 weeks. There's a lot you can do in 3 weeks, but there's only so much you can do in 3 weeks. But I feel like when you come to, nah, girl, like I can't. Warsaw's pretty modern looking compared to Berlin. I went to downtown Berlin and I don't think it was like standing skyscraper in your face, lights like Warsaw is. I don't know.
I'm impressed. I'm surprised. Okay, we have a question from Yvonne. She says she needs the receipts. What is there to do in Poland? Well, I can tell you as Ashley Spring that she stays outside. So
okay. There's a lot of museums. I'm gonna keep it PG. I think my niece is watching. So there's museums, you know, there's a lot of foreigners out here. I'm not gonna lie. I've been outside. Yeah, I've been going out a lot. Like there's a lot of partying. I'm not gonna lie. There's a nice nightlife. It depends on what you're into. If you're into, there's dance, there's martial arts, there's gyms. There's like, what are you into in terms of like, what is there to do? Me personally, I'm satisfied with a gym, spas, recreational activities, you know, and I like a nice nightlife, you know, who doesn't? So.
Shantae Martina says, heavy on the stays outside.
All right, next question.
Have you been immersing yourself in Polish culture?
Why
Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy? I feel like that's a good question.
So, do I know Polish people? Of course, I'm in Poland, but would I necessarily say I'm immersing myself as much as I could be? Probably not, because I feel like foreigners, and I think you can agree with this, foreigners tend to kind of gravitate to each other. So, I'm going to say my circle is mainly other foreigners from other parts of the world, which, I mean, I'm not really like ashamed to say, but it just is what it is. But no, I mean, obviously, you know, I have Polish friends. Like I hang out with Polish people, but a majority of my main circle is people who kind of have like the same life story right now as me. So, and I think that's just.
So what has been your experience? What has been your experience building community with Polish people? Like, how have Polish people received you as a person of color in Poland? What's been the reception like?
I haven't had a problem. I know a lot of well, I think I know a good amount of Polish people, and I've gotten along with everybody. I'm gonna say this though. When I first came, I mean, oh God, how do I answer this without sounding offensive? I think the culture maybe can be misunderstood by other people. Me personally, I haven't had a problem. I like Polish people, if that makes it, like, if that sounds as basic as it sounds, like it sounds so surface level. But I haven't had an issue with Polish people, but I've heard of people who are not from Poland having an issue with Polish people, you know? Um, I think in my experience, the Polish people are pretty open to different cultures. But again, there's stereotypes within, you know, I don't know how to answer that without sounding, you know, I don't want to say like something wrong, but I'm going to say this. I haven't had an issue. I haven't had an issue. And I'm not going to speak for everybody else's experience, but me personally, like I have girls and that I'm friends with that are Polish, and immersing myself into the culture hasn't really been a big thing. In terms of the language barrier, which a lot of people ask me that, listen, I attempted to take Polish classes, and now it's come to a point where I'll just pick up the words I can pick up. I'm not gonna lie, I've given up. Um, I've given up. But if I decide to stay here long enough, then I have no choice but to learn the language. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. It's been pretty chill. I think the culture is pretty chill from my perspective.
Have you dated a Polish person?
Hi, Keyoka. No, I haven't.
You told me that nothing was off limits.
Off limits, but that was strong. That was. But no, I haven't. I promise I haven't. And this thing is gonna be on my Instagram. So if I'm lying, then somebody will call me out. But no, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Prepare yourself. The questions are only going to get worse. So we have a suggestion about the sound situation. I mean, I think if you put your headphones in, but I don't know if we want to troubleshoot right now. I don't know.
They're not connecting. It's not connecting to the Bluetooth. So it's phone's Bluetooth, but it's not connecting to the thing. I don't know why. I tried. But give me like 1 second. Let me open this door because it's getting hot in here. Hold on.
And everybody should take this opportunity to like the video. I apologize for the sound issues. It's ghetto over here, so settle in.
I apologize. I get close to the airport, so if you hear the plane, sorry, but it's hot.
It's fine. So someone says, I can't. Chef Boyarze says, my sister was in the military. She said those countries look at black people as if they've never seen us before, as if they just discovered a lost species. Fix your face.
I said I'm talking for myself. I haven't. See, I'm gonna have to really think though, because that I felt that in Romania. I can really like go back to a few times where I was walking down the street and people will stare at you. But it's not, to me, it's not something to take offensive, because if you've never left your country before and you see an outsider, I mean, it's not, I understand like some people can feel, I don't know, weird if they're being stared at. But I mean, it's human nature to be curious. And I'm sure you experienced this too. Even though in Albania, I did find it a little bit, I found a mixture of culture there. But I feel like that's just comes with the territory, right? Like you're not in your country. Especially if you're in a small town, they probably don't see too many outsiders. So me personally, I don't really get offended by that. And like I said, I could only speak from my experience. In Warsaw, I have not had that experience. I know people who have had different experiences, um, and in Budapest too. Like, come on, it is what it is, right? Like, you do have racist people all over the world. I'll say, even in Italy. But me personally, I haven't had that experience. If I'm gonna say I had that experience, it would be Romania and Ireland. Ireland was,
Ireland?
yeah,
But Ireland is where I'm going to bump into my husband, so I really don't know what you're saying.
Ireland.
Ireland is where I'm going to trip and fall into my husband's lap. So
You sure? Listen, I don't know. I'm like, but that's the, oh, you see, it's like what I don't know what whoever said that comment about his sister being in the military. I don't know, maybe she's in Warsaw. I don't know what part of Poland she's at, but I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh no, well that's not possible, because it could be true. It's probably true. It just hasn't happened to me yet. But now, if we want to talk about Romania, I had that experience in Romania, and in Ireland, I had that experience coming off the plane, and I loved Ireland. That didn't destroy my experience in Ireland, but I mean, I think that was one of the most craziest experiences I had. I was coming off the plane, and there was a woman, and it wasn't a friendly stare. It wasn't like, like, oh, hi. It wasn't a curious stare. It was like, ill, like, like I killed her whole family, like straight disgust. And I think that was the first time I experienced, I mean, what we would call, you know, like the racial tension and stuff while traveling.
okay. Have you have you had lots of experience like that while you've been in Europe?
But say it again.
Have you had a lot of experiences like that while you've been in Europe?
No, but then you got to remember, like I said, I'm hanging out with a lot of foreigners too. So we're all pretty similar looking. And the places that I frequent, I'll say there's a lot of foreigners, and the Polish people who are going, and I'm talking in Warsaw specifically and in Budapest. I mean, I'm just going to keep it straight. Clubs. Like if I go to a hip hop club, right? Or like a Latin club, we know who's going to be there. Like I'm going with a group of people, or I'm going with someone. I know who's going to be there, and they know who's going to be there. So it's like, I don't know how they feel going into that space, but I don't think they would go into that space if they're so against the people who are going to be there. But I don't know. This is going to sound so like off topic, but I also feel like a lot of it is energy. Like I'm not feeling that way. I'm not looking that way. Call me naive. You can call me naive, but I really don't feel that all the time. I'm not blind to it. I'm not ignorant to the facts, but I'm not really seeing it like that either. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think I've spoken about this on the channel before. When you are outside of the US, you kind of have the opportunity to almost be outside of racism in a way, because and it's probably like the social currency that comes with being an American and having an American accent. But people really don't receive you as just a black person or just a person of color. So it's like you can really walk around like a normal person and people aren't looking at you like you're going to steal or kidnap their children or you're not a threat because you're just a regular person. And I think getting to that place is only possible when you do travel long term, because it kind of allows you to let go of some of the stuff you're carrying on, or a lot of people carry in this country. That's just my 2 cents.
I don't know. No, there goes the plane. I don't know if you guys hear.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Can you see her? Yeah, going off what you said, Keyoka, it's true. Like, I mean, you're still not from their country, right? Like, you're still not, in my case, I'm not Polish. No matter what I do or how much makeup I put on or what clothes I wear, I'm not from here, right? But I feel like this. I feel like being American, and this is gonna sound so bad, you're either really liked or really hated. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's just straight to it. You know, like I've had conversations with, actually recently, I'm in the cab with, I don't know if she's watching this. Hopefully she's here. But I'm in the cab with two of my homegirls. And one of them was visiting from New York City. And the cab driver asked my friend up front where she's from, and she says Africa. And he asked us where we're from, and we said New York City, and his response was "fuck America." I'm not going to argue with someone who's driving. Yeah, it was, but it was like,
I wouldn't even know what to do. I would just
no, and it's so funny. To be frank, so we already knew something was off because the man came to. I don't even know why we got in that cab, but it was an Uber, and I don't even know why we got in there because he came to greet us with his feet with his shoes off. That was already a red flag. But moving on from that, I don't know where he was from. He was from somewhere in the Middle East. So he had his own, you know, and then most of the time you talk to people and they're like, where are you from? And you tell them America, or usually I say New York City. I was raised in New York City, and they'll be like, oh, well, wow, I want to go there. That's so cool. Like, you know, so it's either there's really no in between, you know?
yeah, I agree with that. It's really hit or miss. Um, yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the comments. Maya says she went to a hip hop club in Vienna and there were no other black people, and she did experience racism. That's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting. I believe Maya also asked, what visa do you have to stay in Poland for so long?
So I don't know if Maya's an American citizen, but there's like a bilateral agreement, which I didn't know. Had I known, I probably wouldn't have even went to Romania, which I don't regret I did. But Hungary and Poland has it. So do your research. Don't quote me. I don't work for immigration. I don't want nobody getting deported because of me. But
Wait,
I had
pause,
a
pause, 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 pause. I just want to remind everybody to like the video. This is key information. This is key information that actually has come down to the channel to bring y'all. Okay? And also, I would like to say that the Awkward Black Nomad brand does not support any legal advice. No, we are not the administrators of your visa. We are not giving any recommendations. Ashley or Keyoka. So if you go down to the Poland and you get locked up, that's on you. You didn't get this information over here. We are just saying this is just what she did. This is her personal situation. Please consult an attorney. Now proceed.
Get deported. Come back to this video and write it in the comments. Like, actually, you need to get out of Poland in 5.3 seconds because they jazz.
Right, they locking people up.
No, because I didn't even know. Like, so when I was in Budapest, somebody told me that. They're like, you don't got to leave for 3 months. I'm like, no, like I'm going by the book. I'm like, I'm leaving for 3 months at least, and then I'll come back into the country and I'll start my residency process then. But coming to Poland, I met a lot of Americans who were doing it. So, I drown myself in research, especially traveling. And I think you can agree with this. Like, there's nights that you're on that phone, like, is this the right move? Like, I'm on Reddit, I'm on Quora, I'm fucking on Instagram, Facebook forums. I'm trying to make sure that I'm making the right move. So in terms of Poland, Maya, I think it was the one that asked the question. As an American citizen, you can stay in Poland for 3 months, leave for a day, and come back the next day. as long as you leave and enter through Poland. Same thing with Hungary. Again, I don't know. I mean, no, I can't say I don't know because that's what I just did. That's how I'm. God, I don't even know if I should be saying this, like, but that's what I did. I mean, it's totally legal. It's totally legal. There's an agreement, and as long as you come into Poland. So what I did was I went to Albania and I came back because I don't know if I want to get residency here. I had residency in Hungary. I had residency in Hungary for a year, and it was easy to get residency in Hungary, but because it was expiring, I was like, I don't know if I want to go through that process to stay in Poland for, which I'm ending up, I've been here for a few months, so I should have done it, but it's easier to do it that way too, like leave every 3 months and come back for me, for me.
Your mom says Ashley is a great researcher when it comes to her travel experiences. She is a great researcher, but she is not a licensed advisor. So please do your own Googles. We did not say it was okay to leave for that's not what we said. And if you say and Ashley is saying that she did that, but she will not own up to it if you bring it up again. So, anyways, how
You
was
are
it getting
her.
residency? I'm serious. How was it getting residency in Hungary? Was that, you said it was an easy process. What do you remember the process a little bit? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, no, that was super. And the reason I remember that process so well was because that's another thing I was like, I was terrified about. Like, am I going to get approved? Am I going to get approved? The plane is. You guys hear it? Can you hear it?
Just a little bit. Just keep going.
Okay. So I was like terrified to even do it. I was already thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to try. Like, I'm telling you, when I'm scared of something, I'm like, it takes me a lot to get my feet wet. But that was a process that was so easy for what I thought it was going to be. They literally asked for insurance, income, reason of stay, which to me, it was going to be, I thought it was going to be medical because I paid to get aligners, which I didn't finish the treatment. So I applied for other purposes, which is pretty much if you're not a student, or if you don't have like a business, marriage, kids, whatever. So every time.
Wait, I'm sorry. The
You
sound clicked out a little bit. What'd you say?
said I did the process in 30 days online. Online. I did it for other purposes. I did it through I went to a dental office and I paid for like an aligners treatment, which I didn't complete. But I needed a reason to stay. So all they asked for was income, insurance, reason of stay, which could even be a relationship. Like if you're starting a relationship with a Hungarian citizen or a Hungarian resident, you could probably get approved on that. But what I will say is a lot of people said that when you have, again, I'm only speaking from someone who has an American passport. I don't know how it is for all other passports because I've heard that those are kind of different. Those, everybody's process is different. But oh my God. Oh, am I here?
Yeah, you're here. Thank you. I took your
Wow.
recommendation and I switched the mic over to my AirPod. So thank you. Um, so basically what I got from that was find a Hungarian man. So when you were in
Is that what you
Hungary, that's what I heard.
That's what you heard.
That's what I heard. Find a Hungarian man. Get yourself
Okay.
a a residency in Hungary. Um, and what did they look like over there? Like, what was it giving? Like, did you date when you were in Hungary?
Total transparency, right? Total transparency.
Welcome to my channel.
I did
So
date in
happy you're
Hungary, but
here.
he was far from Hungarian. He was Nigerian.
This is a Nigerian hate account. I'm just kidding.
No, no, no. I did date someone. Well, okay, when I no, no. That was my only experience dating. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not even trying to. I mean, I don't really have fun dating stories the way like I know other people to have fun dating stories. Um, I kind of wish I would have taken the offer to go out with a few Hungarian guys. I do find them attractive. I think so. I think so. I think
So
so.
what was the build like? Like, cause sometimes in European. Wait a second. Wait a second. Chef
I love this.
Boyarze, mind your business. Mind your business. This what stays on the chat stays on the chat. Listen, nobody is gonna sit here. Well, except y'all. Nobody gonna sit here and watch this video. We trying to get Ashley to be transparent. Okay, we want her to be transparent. I'm not. Don't clip anything. All right. But what was it giving? Because sometimes European men are like very slender, which I don't like, but might be like really tall. This is becoming
Okay.
aggressive. Yvonne says
So,
Nigerians will find you anywhere in the world, and they
who said
will.
that? Who said that? Yvonne.
Yvonne, she's my messy co-host.
Shout out to Nigerians, man. But um no, I'm gonna say this. They look Hungarian men to me as an outsider looking in because I don't know who's watching this. I don't know who's gonna watch this. From what I saw, they do look different from Polish men. And I don't think the build was slim at all. I'm thinking country boy. That's the first thing I thought. When I first touched like down, I'm thinking like Tennessee, Texas.
When I tell you
God.
that's my type, but that's my type.
Ireland, yeah. Okay, so yeah. If you're asking me, man, I'm sure I'm gonna get a few messages after this, like, yo, I thought we were well, you was putting my people out there looking crazy.
It's okay. The the Nigerians who are here have left the chat. I can see the count going down. It's probably them. I'm just kidding. I don't hate Nigerians. JK. Anyways, so you didn't date in Hungary, you didn't date in Poland. Have you dated in? I'm trying to think. You've been all over the place.
So no,
Um,
that's my it's kind of my dating life is kind of boring. I did kind of date in Romania. Yeah. I
to a
was talking to
Romanian.
some yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's why I say like a lot of people told me going there like the men are very, machismo and, very big egos and stuff. I think it's just a different culture. I think the culture is just different and I always say this like sometimes people are just misunderstood. I didn't experience not one and I was hanging out with a lot of guys because I was in kickboxing. I was doing kickboxing daily. And I think that the
Kickboxing daily is crazy.
yeah, I was doing Muay Thai pretty much every day. So I was around a lot of guys and they were very respectful. I didn't have any issues. Like I didn't feel you gotta understand before I went there, everybody was putting fear on me, like, oh, you're gonna go to Romania. And I didn't know shit about Romania. I just knew that it was the easiest country to get to from Budapest with my dogs. And I had to leave Budapest and I didn't have time to do the whole flight preparation to go to Thailand. I didn't have that time. So I was just like, let me take the train. It was one train straight into Romania. So I did it. And the whole experience was nice. Yeah, getting onto the train, I can see the roughness that people were referring to, but I didn't have any experience where I felt unsafe, where I felt like I was going to be disrespected, where I felt like I was being manhandled. It was an amazing experience in Romania.
That's beautiful. What? So you talked a little bit about people putting their fears on you. What has been your experience dealing with people who maybe back home? Like, how was it received when you told your family, "Hey, I'm gonna take the dogs. I'm gonna go. Don't know when I'm coming back. Bye, guys." Were they just like, "Okay," or was it like you're gonna get chopped into a million pieces?
remember, I thought I was coming back. Like my mom is in the chat. I thought I was coming back. It was a 30-day stay in Italy. Once I got to Europe, I realized like I'm just gonna make this shit happen. Like, why do I keep? Because I was my worst fear was already being conquered, bringing my dogs on the plane. Um, so I actually think I canceled my flight or I missed the flight. I just didn't go to the flight. You know, but fears, I that's every day. That's every day. Even it's so funny because even people who are traveling themselves, who are living abroad, are always I get questions from those people like, aren't you scared? Like, you and I are doing the same thing. You just have more of a reason to be here, but we're pretty much doing the same thing, you know? Um, and I think I don't know if you agree, but I feel like being American, there's also like a mindset that comes with that, where, you know, leaving America is like this big thing, you know?
Yes. Explain more about that.
Oh, okay. How do I? I'll
Like, so what are I'll give you a question. So what are some of the mindset shifts that you needed to have to be able to go abroad and stay there? What were some of the things you kind of had to unpack and unlearn?
Can I be? I'm gonna be completely transparent here. I feel, and I still feel like I deal with a lot of. I think I'm very ignorant to certain things, like, and I also learned that going back to like the dating topic. I've also learned that through dating. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't really want to open my mind to, but I know I'm closed minded to. You know, so it's not when it comes to the mindset. It's not just about fear. It's just okay, wait, that's a good. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. So what do you mean? Like things that I realized that I was afraid of, or things that, what do you mean?
So I think I'll talk a little bit from about me. I think that there were fears that I had that were stopping me from going forward. So, for instance, like this idea about safety, right? Like you're in a foreign country by yourself, you have your dogs with you, and what you don't know them people, right? And I think like in America, for some reason, like we have this impression that when you go abroad, they're like everybody is scary, everything is dangerous, everything is scary. Even like if you go to lesser developed countries, oh, you're gonna get pum you're gonna get snatched up. Something bad is going to happen to you if you leave the US. And so like some of what got me to travel was like I was like, well, I'm gonna go see. Let me go find out, right? Because I live in Texas where, the laws are crazy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Keyoka, I'm gonna be so honest here, and I'm not even trying to like big myself up, but I don't think I've ever had that fear. I think the main fear that I had, which was probably it's still there, but it can happen anywhere. It could still happen. Like, it's gonna sound bad, but like Oregon, being trafficked for my organ, it's like that's something I fear. So, but now I don't know if I'm too careless, but I don't. Okay, I'm not gonna say what I do, but I'm gonna say like I've become more lenient with like safety precautions. I'm not watching over my back as much. I'm not. I kind of I lock my door, but sometimes I forget to lock my door. You know, but I
Okay,
don't feel like I ever.
we need to clean this up. So she's not saying that she's lenient with safety precautions. So we're not telling you to go overseas and not lock your door. I think what she's trying to say is because she feels safer abroad, she doesn't have to be as vigilant sometimes. Because you got to think, Ashley's originally from New York, right? So that's a perceived dangerous place. But she get over there to Poland. I'm assuming it feels safer there. And she also does kickboxing every day. So she could
I don't
probably
do
beat
kick.
somebody up.
on me. Don't put that on me because Poland has spoiled me. I have been eating like crazy out here, and I have not been into my fitness as much as I should be. So don't put that out there because the people in Poland who know me are gonna know that that's a lie. But the people who know me in Romania know how on top of it I was. But I'll say this though. Also, I moved out of my mom's house at 17, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, but from 17, I moved out. I started working in bars, which were also not like the safest areas. I've pretty much always been, I'm not going to say I've always been independent, but I've been independent for a long time. So it's like, I kind of had that fear, or like that fear. It's not that it's not there. I don't know. Maybe it's like easily managed. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, but I don't, I guess what I'm trying to say is coming abroad, I've been traveling and then I lived in the RV. So it's like, and sometimes I think about it and I'm like, yo, I was living in an RV in the woods. Like, how many times with no protection? Like, how many times could someone have just done what they wanted to do and I wouldn't have been found, you know? So it's just like, I don't think that fear really ever stopped me, but I'm aware of it. Does that make sense? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
that makes a
Please
lot
say
of
in the comments.
sense.
I feel like I'm everywhere right now. So someone in the comments tell me if I'm making sense.
Shantae says, I have a huge fear of being kidnapped and trafficked. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but this is a very big fear of mine if I were to be traveling solo as a woman. Let me tell you, they don't want you. I'm just playing.
Hey, let me tell you, they don't what?
They don't want you. They don't want you.
That, that's
I'm playing.
funny. No, but that's the thing. I don't like to sit there and say, oh well, it's not as dangerous as you think it is, because that's ignorant to say. Like, people are getting kidnapped, and that's the reality of life. Like, that's the reality of the world. But then I'm just saying in my case, which it's I don't know, like maybe I should have it a little bit more, but I don't let it run my life. Does that make sense? Like, I don't let it make decisions for me. I'm just aware of it. So when I'm doing planning, yeah, we're talking about research. That's something I research too, usually, like people's experiences in countries. And Romania was big for me because I'm telling you, girl, I was going there thinking that I was gonna have to hold my bag and I was gonna have to do this and I was gonna have to do that. And I was surprised with what I found. So I can't say that fear doesn't exist. It's very much there. Like, you're not gonna catch me going to North Korea. you know
Although people have gone to North Korea and they
Exactly.
have been fine.
Exactly. And they've done their
So
research, the right travel groups, and they made it happen.
yeah, I
But
mean, I
I'm good.
think research is like a big part of it, right? And then also reevaluating what you're afraid of. So some people are afraid of like anything, right? Like I took a hike in the middle of nowhere and then bungee jumped off the the mountainside into water and I can't swim. Some people would be really afraid of that. I was really afraid of that. But I still did it, right? So it's like managing risk.
Like, you tell me you're gonna have to clean this up. How did you make, like, what? I don't get it. You bungee jumped into a big body of water. You didn't know how to swim.
I had on a life vest.
Okay. Okay.
And
Do you?
also some of it is I'm just gonna die today. This is gonna be that moment that, my sister told me about. Like one day I'm just gonna fall off somewhere. And I was like, this is it. She was right. But
Wow.
it didn't happen.
And
But it didn't happen. But it didn't happen.
I don't. That's your life. Listen, I didn't say that, y'all. She did. We're gonna talk off. We'll talk later on about that.
Chef Boyarze, our resident tech support, has asked, would you ever move somewhere in Africa?
You know what's so sad? I haven't been to Africa, and it's definitely gonna happen soon. Would I move? I don't know. I haven't been, so I have to go and see. But if I go, I see, I like it, then fuck yeah, like, why not? See, here's the moving again, anything over 60 days. So if I like it and I can see myself there for a year, then why not, right? Why not?
Definitely, that's
It's
fair.
definitely not off the table. It's not off the table.
Aurora C says, vintage Afro-Latina here. You probably know you're protected otherworldly, so you just live in the present. Snaps.
I think that too. See, I'm trying not to take this conversation into like the whole spiritual aspect and energies and all that, but I genuinely do believe everything starts within the mind. And I don't even think of, I mean, it sounds really naive to say, but when I'm asked about danger is when I realize like, oh shit, how do I feel about that? Like, is that safe? I just feel like you'll know, you know, you'll know. And again, research, like you can, everything is found on our smartphones now. But your experience might not be mine anyway, because you might be going there with a different mindset. And it depends on what you're going to look for. Like if you're a person who's, like into all types of crazy, I mean, whatever crazy is to you might not be crazy to me, but if you're into certain things, then you're going to find yourself in those environments, right? And wherever you go in the world, there you are, right? There's that saying, like, wherever you go, there you are. So I'm just as much of a procrastinator in Poland as I was in the States. Like, and I think that's something, they say like travel teaches you about yourself. And I think travel teaches you about yourself, but it's just your connection with other human beings. Like we have to connect with other people to get to know ourselves. That's just my belief. You can get to know yourself on your own time. Isolation is mandatory sometimes, but you really don't know yourself until you start clashing with different cultures,
Yeah.
dating, traveling. I think it's essential to really learn different parts of yourself, you know?
Hmm. So, what have you learned about yourself while traveling?
I like that question. God, I don't have as much patience as I thought I did. Um, to be completely transparent, I'm more controlling than I thought that I was, you know? I've always known, like I always knew I was an overthinker, but I overthink a lot. Like I overthink a lot. And then there's certain things in relationships that I'm not okay with. And I didn't even know because I never had to experience them. And I don't even want to get too detailed about that, girl. But let's just say there's things that they say never, right? They say never until you're in the situation. And there's certain things now that I can say I'll never do that, or I'll never accept that, or I'll never be okay with that, or I'll never get along with someone who is like that, you know? But you have to experience it to be able to say that. Because then there's other things that, you know,
But you know
can't.
what it is? It's like because you're learning about yourself, you're becoming firmer in who you are. So, like, that ability to say, no, I'm never going to do that is because you've experienced it, right? So, like, it's a hard pass for you because now you've learned this about yourself. I think as a woman, especially, that's a beautiful thing, right? Because I think a lot of women get to be older, they may get into relationships, they start having children, and they have not really taken the time to learn what they like and what they don't like. They haven't had that time to have new experiences. I really feel like that sort of exploration is vital for women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and me and you were talking about this, like trauma. You really don't know trauma until you have to face that shit alone. Does that make sense? Like, and I don't even think you need to travel to get that, to understand that. But like I'm gonna speak from my perspective. There's things that I've dealt with overseas that I know would have been easier had I been home under my mother's wing, under being able to like call my sister and just go to her house, or call my friends and people who I'm familiar with. But not that I don't have anybody, because I think I've met some amazing people here in Poland and everywhere I've been. But I just feel like there's certain things that you're gonna have to deal with, and it's gonna test your strength. It's gonna test your mental strength. You know, it's gonna test a lot of shit about you. It's gonna make certain emotions surface, and you're gonna have to deal with that shit by yourself. So I think, again, I don't think you need to travel to do this, but I think in my case, traveling has made me have to face certain things alone. From like my dog's death, for example, it's like, to a lot of people, that's a dog. That's the only consistency I've had for 16 years. So her dying, especially I mean, she died in a freak accident pretty much. So it's like, that is like shit, like that reality. Now I'm in a new reality. I'm a new Ashley. I have to become there's a new norm for me, and I got to do that overseas with, yeah, you have advice over the phone, but it's just different. It's different. And I can't really explain that. I think you and everybody who is overseas by themselves and away from, familiar faces can understand that, I
Yeah.
can't really explain.
Um, Yeah, so like on my channel, I talk about being an introvert and how it's difficult to make friends, even in the US. But when you're overseas and you're traveling, it's really important to have a community or to have people who are in your same time zone, that you can talk to. Um,
Wow,
it's
that's
crazy.
that's
Yeah, because it's crazy.
yeah,
There's been so many times where, I also didn't have the support of my family just because it's 6 a.m. where I am. It's like in midnight where they are. They're asleep. There's nobody I can call. Literally. And that having to be in a oh crap, I have to figure out how to get out of this situation and not have anybody that you can kind of lean on, having to like come up with resources by yourself. Knife sharpens knife, like it's
God.
crazy out there. But that's why it's so important for you to build community. So where you are in Poland right now, how have you been able to build a support system? How have you been able to have friends? What does that look like for you?
So I'm gonna be honest, like, I have 3 or 4 people right now that come to mind when I think, like, if I need something, or if I need to talk to someone, or if I just need to crash, like go to their house and just vent, that I feel I can trust and let it out on. But I'm not gonna lie, here a lot of my connections have been like through partying and gym, when I did go to the gym, or when I do go to the gym. How else? Instagram and expat meetups, a lot of social events. And that's why I say, like, to me, Poland, Warsaw is amazing with that. Like, there's always events happening with a whole bunch of, I say foreigners, but it's really expats, right? It's foreigners, but it's people who live here from another country. And yeah, no, I feel like that's how I found, like, that's a lot of the connections I have, through social events, through social.
How do you find out about these social events? Are you on Facebook? Like, where do they post?
I wish I can answer that question, but it's like one person knows one person, and then you end up hanging out with this person, and just like that. Instagram, though, Instagram. A lot of it starts on Instagram, right? And then when you live anywhere, you just start to meet one person, and that person introduces you to another person, and before you know it, you guys are in the same event, so you get each other's WhatsApp, and now you're hanging out, having drinks, having dinner. And I mean, they're probably not your best friend, but there's still a connection. There's still someone who, you can probably call to go have a coffee or something like that. So I think that's how, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not in school and I don't work here. So unless you're a student, or if you work here, maybe that's your story, your way of connecting. But for me, it's usually like social events. It's really, and in Budapest, it was, like I said, I was dating someone, and then I was in the gym. I was in the gym. So yeah,
So in
yeah.
person. Um, so I imagine a lot of people, again, like don't have Poland on their radar. Can you talk a little bit about the cost of living in comparison to the US? Like, what's your grocery bill look like? What's
Okay.
your, do you feel comfortable sharing your accommodations,
I
like the
feel
cost of your
like
accommodation?
I feel like everybody, and excuse me because my mouth is getting dry, but I feel like everybody should know about the cost of living in Warsaw compared to the US, depending on where you're coming from the US. So groceries, I'm a single person. It's just me. I think you can spend, if you cook at home every single day, I think with $100 to $150 every 2 weeks, you can be okay.
Every
I
two
think so.
weeks?
Again, it's just me. I'm a single person. So that would include, I guess, your meats. I buy a lot of fish, fruits, rice, vegetables, seasonings, sweets. Yeah, I think so. I think I could definitely make $150 worth of groceries and it'll last me 2 weeks. Um, I don't know how that would, I don't know about children and stuff like that, but again, that's for one person. And I've seen the bills in the US right now where my mom's at in Dallas. I mean, she's sending me, like, I'm seeing her cart at Walmart and I'm talking like, you guys are paying like for 6 items, it's like $100. And that
I need
terrifies me, right?
I need to be on somebody's food stamps because the cost of food in Dallas is ridiculous. Okay. I need somebody needs to come subsidize my grocery bill because being back in the US and having to pay so much money for food should be a crime.
It scares me. It really does. And I don't know, like I'm even trying, I'm gonna say 200 max, but I'm pushing it with $200. Like I am pushing it because yeah, no, like I'm gonna say let's say $100 a week. Let's say $100 a week grocery bill, you know? But if you're a single person, I don't know how much you're eating, but I think that should really do you good. Now when it comes to like rent, so I really don't care about saying it. I pay depending on the dollar. So I pay 3,400 zloty a bedroom apartment, but that includes internet. It doesn't include any utilities. So that's like 850 to like right now the dollar's pretty crappy. So I'm paying maybe like 850 to like $875 a month for a one bedroom apartment. It's a mess right now. I would like spin the camera, but you're not gonna embarrass me. And which is water and electricity. I have a dog, so my electricity is always going. My TV's always on, the lights are always on, and I haven't paid more than $100.
Okay.
And
And,
according to my friend who lives next door, I'm on the high end. So yeah.
okay. And are you staying in sort of like a central area? Like are you staying in like a downtown area or are you outside the city center with that price?
So that's a good question. I'm definitely outside the city center, but I have a ground floor and I have a little garden for my dog. Well, when I had the second dog, she was blind, so we got the garden. There's a garden, and I have. God, I'm like telling a lot about myself. It's like there's two entrances, so there's entrance, whatever. So there's two ways out, which I think. So I'm gonna say in Dallas, my mom it was a two bedroom, but I can confidently say in Dallas this apartment is at least $2,000. So you do the comparison, like 1,700 to $2,000. Um, I'm not in the central area, but I'm like 15 minutes away. And then in the central area, if you didn't have a garden, I'm gonna confidently say you can probably pay the same amount if you're like not on a ground floor with a garden, if you're like maybe a little bit, you know, like not on a favorable floor, not with a favorable view. You can probably pay at least 850 to $1,000 for a studio to one bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
think
bad.
so. And I think so. In the center, you can find that for sure.
And how are you getting around? Are you using public transportation? Why are you
It's so
smiling at me?
because everybody I know out here is okay. This is so embarrassing. I haven't used in Budapest. I used the metro system because I just wanted to, and the cabs are way more expensive in Budapest. But here, I haven't been on a bus or a train yet. The taxis, the most I've paid for a taxi, it's very cheap. I mean, it's to me, it's affordable compared to Dallas or New York City or Florida. I've lived in those three states, and this is like half of that. So, taxis. So I'll say this for a 30-minute taxi ride, I'm paying like $10. I haven't paid more than like $15 for a taxi since I've been out here. That's how I'm getting around. I do plan to integrate and learn the metro and the bus and the tram system because they have a really good, you know, setup, but I've just been too lazy to figure it out. So I've been taking Uber everywhere. Uber and
I don't
Bolt.
believe. How long have you been in Poland now?
So in October I'm gonna say I started coming. But I signed my lease May.
You'll never learn how to take the public transport. You don't want to. It's okay. It's okay.
No,
She's
I
rich,
laugh.
rich. She likes to be chauffeured. It's fine.
Everybody says that, like, you haven't taken the bus yet. I'm like, no, I've been too lazy. But okay, so I'm gonna say this. In Budapest, the rent was way cheaper. It was so much cheaper than I have found it to be in Poland. But the taxis were a killer. So if I wasn't getting picked up, yeah, I was taking taxis. But if I wasn't getting picked up or like, then I would, and I had time, then yeah, I would take the bus, I would take the tram, you know? But it's like, it's been, I haven't really been over my budget here too much where I can't take cabs, you know? Hmm.
Okay.
That's
I'm not judging you. I'm just getting the tea. I'm getting the tea.
judging myself. I should be making better financial choices.
All right, y'all, we are winding down. I just want to remind everybody to like the video. If you have any questions for Ashley, please drop them down in the comments section so we can get to it. Ashley, has there been anything that has surprised you about your time abroad, dating or otherwise?
A lot of stuff. Medical care being more affordable, being quite organized. Um, I think the cost of living versus the quality of life. That's the honest to God truth. Like for me, it just made sense to it just makes sense to live abroad and I guess travel versus being where I was before I came to Europe, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Um yeah. And the people are nice. I've come across some amazing people. And I think that's something a lot of people ask me. Like I do intend to actually post on my YouTube because there's a lot of other things that I do want to dive into, but I feel like language barrier hasn't really stopped me from connecting with people. I do find people helpful, you know? Like I don't know. I'm sure people from New York City are gonna watch this and understand what I'm saying when I say like people are pretty friendly. And I mean, New Yorkers are friendly. I think we're just misunderstood. You know, like we'll curse you out, but we'll help you afterwards. You
New
know,
Yorkers, so like I'm from the South, like originally from New Orleans. I live in Texas now. New Yorkers speak too harshly for me.
yeah.
Like, why are y'all putting so much emphasis on certain words? Like I feel like you yelling at me, but we just having a regular conversation. Why
I
y'all curse
say
so much?
I got to defend the New Yorkers because I'm sure somebody's gonna come for me. But I'll say this: New Yorkers are passionate and misunderstood. We go hard, but we love hard, and
All
we're
right.
there's a deep loyalty that you find between New Yorkers. So I think it's a lot of it is being misunderstood. Just like we're saying about telling me about Romanians and the Polish people. Like, nah, it's just a misunderstanding, but it's all love, you know? It's
That's
nothing
fair.
personal.
That's fair. Mundo asks, what's the minimum amount for quality of life? So I'm guessing like how much would you need in Poland to have a good quality of life?
That's a good question. The internet says you can survive here on like $1,500 to 2,000 a month, but I think yeah, no. I think I think 15 to 2,000 if if you're not living like I'm living. I order out a lot and I take a lot of taxis, but I think for sure 1,500, 2,000 for sure. I think so. a single person. Again, I'm speaking from a single person perspective. Like, if you have kids, but I know if you work out here, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you work out here, you also get like free healthcare, which is amazing too. Yeah, no, yeah. So I think with $1,500, a single person could definitely, to 2,000, a single person could definitely make it happen for sure.
Chef Boyarze asks, when can we expect you to visit the US again? Never.
When those grocery prices go down.
That's what your
But
sister says. She says the way prices are looking over here, she might never come back. I can't.
I do want to go back to visit though, because I mean, I miss home, and that's something we didn't even touch on, girl. Like missing home, like that's a real thing. Missing home is real. Like that wanderlust, it's there, but those days where you miss home, it's like, like there's certain things I miss about home that I do not think I'll find here. Maybe I think I saw it in Romania, but just like simple things like going out and being able to sit on your stoop and have a beer with the neighborhood kids or the neighborhood friends, like that type of community. That shit is like, you don't really realize how much you miss it until you don't have it, you know?
So
Um,
then what are some of the things you miss about being in the US? So you say community, but like that's a very specific type of community, right? Like
yeah, I'm okay.
sitting
So
on
I'm good.
this having a kickback.
Yeah, the kickbacks outside. I'm talking from like growing up in New York City. One thing I miss. Oh my God, why didn't I say this? The one thing I miss, because why is everything closed on Sundays? Everything is closed on Sundays. Everything is closed after, I mean, you have the Żabka that's open 24, 24/7, whatever. But
Wait, pause. So everything is closed on Sundays in Poland.
I learned that
Why?
shit the hard. I don't know. That's something I should know, right? I don't know, but I learned that the hard way. But this is the worst. This is the worst. Let me tell you what's the worst. The mall on Google, because that's how I find everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, it's pretty bad, but that's how I get around. Like if I need a dog not a dog sitter, like a vet, best vets near me, and then I'll go through the reviews, start the research process, whatever. But the mall, for example, will say open because it is open. The cinema, I think, is open, but everything in it is closed. So I learned that shit the hard way because I went to the mall, which was open technically, but all the stores inside were closed.
So you can walk
Supermarkets,
through. It's
the
like that in
ATM.
Germany.
I think it's all of Europe. I think Budapest is like that too. I don't know about Sundays though. I think Budapest things were closed on Sundays, but everything is closed, dude, and it sucks. It's at least in Poland. I'm gonna speak from Poland because there's been so many times where I want to just go to the store and like get something simple, and it's closed. Food closed. You know?
So have you found someone to help with your dog? So like if you want to travel, do you have a pet sitter in Poland? A lot of people suggested doing house sitting. So I don't know if you're familiar with house sitting, like having
Yeah,
someone come and stay in your place while you're away.
that might be the approach I take next time because I use this website called Petsy, Petsy.Poland, PL really. And she didn't really take too nice to the sitter that I got her. She like from what I heard, she was making a lot of noise and she wasn't sitting still. And then it's been friends. It's been friends. It's been friends. But other than that, she goes with me everywhere because the trains here are all pet friendly. So if I'm going most like anytime you see me in another city, most times she's with me. Most times, you know? So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm just looking through some of the comments. Um, so far, he said he works for T-Mobile, making 70K a year, and I'm barely making it. My rent is 2,400. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And if you
I'm
can
not
find a
doing it.
way to get then get your ass to Eastern Europe because but I'll say this, it's no you can't really say that because the the income here is going to go with the cost of living. So, it's, as an American, it's good, but then you have the people the locals here are also struggling because inflation is everywhere. And I think even in the last 7 to 8 months that I've been here, it's gone up. Like shit has definitely gone up.
I'm guessing the salaries aren't in Poland, the salaries probably aren't as high in the US. The US actually has a lot of like, we are able to make a lot of money in this country, but the quality of life and the cost of living is crazy. Um, okay, your friend Ashley is asking, when are you gonna visit San Diego? You have a free place to stay.
Soon, and she knows it. As soon as I get to the US, I do intend to like it's gonna be crazy. It's probably gonna be the way I am out here with the train. That's probably how it's gonna be out there with the flights.
Okay, that's perfect. Um, that's all I got. Actually, I appreciate you coming down to the channel. I want to remind everybody to like the video. If you want to follow Ashley on the social medias, I've put her Instagram in the comment section. Um, she has a lot of great photos, and she is the key person that you want to go to if you are looking to travel with your dog. I'm trying to convince her to get her YouTube channel going and see what kind of content she creates. But Ashley, you have been phenomenal. Thank you so much for coming on my channel. This was a great chat. For anybody catching the replay, if you have any questions for Ashley or Trixie, put them in the comment section. I'll make sure she get to them. And I would love to have you on my channel again if you're open to it. We could talk about something else. I'll figure it out.
Of course. Thank you so
Oh
much,
wait,
Keyoka. It was all
we have one more. This is the last
go.
question, Mundo. What's the best place to live in the US if not Europe?
Wait, cost of living wise or quality of life? Because I love
Open
North
ended.
Carolina. I love the
Not
Carolinas.
not not in the US.
Oh, he said not in the US or in the US?
Wait, did I misunderstand the question? What is the best place to live in the US if not Europe? Oh, so in the US? Nowhere. We trying to get you to leave. Go somewhere else.
But if I had to choose, I'm gonna say Carolinas for sure. For me, Carolinas.
That's fair. All right, this was the Awkward Black Nomad. Like, comment, subscribe to the video. Thank you so much for coming, Ashley. Bye.
Bye.